Minister, the question we're asking today is building on work that's being done by our sports spokesperson, Senator Mark Wall, and on work that's been done over the years by our colleague Ayanna Reardon. And we want to know, have you had any discussions with the FAI on bringing payments to our international women's team in line with payments that are made to our men's international team, given that a number of countries all over the world have already brought these payments for appearance fees in line? And would you support such a move, and would you have any statement on that matter?
Women's sport over many years, and considerable exchequer funding has been allocated to programmes aimed at encouraging women's active and social participation in sport. I would highlight in this regard the Sport Ireland Women in Sport programme established in 2005, which has provided funding support of over 20 million to a broad range of programmes aimed at increasing participation by women and girls. I am an enthusiastic supporter of the Federation of Irish Sports 2020 campaign, and Minister Martin and I have already had discussions on how government can do more to support this initiative. We had a recent meeting with the Irish Federation for Sport, Mary O'Connor, who is very involved in that campaign as well. And I'm aware that sporting associations in a number of countries have decided to bring into line payments of their international men's and women's teams, and I believe this is a welcome, if long overdue, change. And I would encourage all the Irish sporting bodies to consider this, and more broadly the parity of treatment of their international men and women's teams at senior and junior levels. In respect to the sporting body referred to the Deputy at the outset, the National Governing Body of Sport respects the autonomy of all associations in competitions and selection of teams. Payments to international players is a matter, obviously, for the association itself, and we don't have a specific role in determining the level of payments for international teams selected by this or any other national governing body of sport. With that being said, it is important to recognise that when the members of the women's international team referred to by the Deputy highlighted the challenges in their remunerations and conditions, the issue was raised with the association on a number of occasions. In 2018, the then Minister provided additional funding to support the women's international team referred to by the Deputy. In 2019, in spite of a number of challenges, the Department and Sport Ireland made arrangements to ensure that funding allocated for the women's international team was dispersed to them specifically and used to support their preparations for international fixtures. And I thank the Deputy for highlighting this important issue, and myself and Minister Martin will be engaging with the FAI and with the 2020 campaign to ensure that this is addressed. And I would like to ensure the Deputy the importance of women's sport in the context of the programme for government is specifically highlighted, and will also be highlighted with context on a national and international basis.
Okay, I think there is some encouragement there to be taken, but just to give some more context, last month the English FA Minister joined football associations in the likes of Brazil, Australia, Norway and New Zealand in bringing the payments for appearance fees for their women's team in line with their men's team. At the moment, it is my understanding that players on our men's team get €2,500 before any win bonus or any extras, €2,500 basic as an appearance fee for the men's team. Our women get €500, 20% of what the men get. Our department, your department, gives the FAI €800,000 a year, and you mentioned that you are trying to get that directly paid towards the women. What I would like, I want to make sure that that money, I'd like you to ensure that that money comes with strict conditionality in terms of appearance fees, Minister. I think that is a very minimum. Champagne Football was released this week by Mark Tighe and Paul Rowan, or the last couple of weeks. Any person with a love for this sport is shocked by what they're reading. But imagine being a woman player, either at club or international level, seeing the millions washing around the FAI, and they are still having to pay to actually play in the Champions League on behalf of their clubs. It's absolutely disgraceful.
I haven't read the book yet, but I've read many of the articles associated with it, and you're correct in how the funding allocation occurred over many years. And just to be very clear, we will engage seriously with the Football Association and with Sport Ireland on this, and I think we have seen leadership across many other associations, as you've referenced. The programme for government is very specific around targets, and if you look at the National Sports Policy, for example, we're asking all MGBs to set gender diversity targets and develop equality action plans, and support will be provided for dedicated leadership training programmes for women, including governance-related and technical training. Sport Ireland is monitoring the progress and reporting on it annually, and in the context of the overall women's programme from 2005 to date, 20 million has been invested through the national governing bodies and local sports partnerships, and the recently published Irish Sports Monitor shows the gender gap in participation continues to decline from 4.5% at the end of 2017 to 3.4% in the 2019 report. But I think your you're correct in your summation and your reflection on what's happening internationally, and certainly we should show leadership in an Irish footballing context, and we'll be seriously engaging with that and also with the 2020 campaigns. We meet broader equality targets in sport.
There is a role here as well for men's players and men in the game. They haven't shown solidarity with the women over the years. In the 2017 strike, they were noticeably absent through their silence in supporting their women colleagues who are fighting for basics such as even their own tracksuits, as well as paying conditions. We've seen it in other sports. We've seen people like Andy Murray be strong allies for equality of pay for women in his own sport of tennis. We've not seen it in football, and it is absolutely shameful. Footballers are laudably supporting very publicly the Black Lives Matter movement. If they can do that, they can also support gender equality in their own sport, and they can do that loud, and they can do that in a vociferous manner. I, as a young player, as a young schoolboy, paying my £1 or £2 subs, knew that if my dreams ever came true, that all the gifts and allowances that come from being a professional footballer would be following me as a man. There are women in Ireland now who have reached their dream, playing international football, playing in the Champions League, who are still paying their subs every week or month to play for their country or their team, and it just can't go on.